Beneath the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean, South Korea is embarking on a bold and unprecedented journey, constructing its own fleet of nuclear-powered submarines. This ambitious project marks a significant turning point in the nation's military history, signaling a new era of technological advancement and strategic independence. This move is far more than a simple military upgrade. It's a powerful declaration of intent that could fundamentally reshape the balance of power across Asia. As regional tensions simmer and maritime disputes intensify, South Korea's decision sends a clear message to both allies and rivals. Nuclear submarines offer unmatched endurance and stealth, able to remain submerged for months at a time, undetected by adversaries. With this capability, South Korea is poised to emerge as a formidable maritime force, ready to protect its interests and project power far beyond its shores. The urgency behind this decision is clear. With growing threats near its borders and an increasingly unpredictable security environment, South Korea recognizes the need for greater self-reliance and rapid modernization of its defenses. For decades, only a select group of nations possessed the technology and expertise to build nuclear-powered submarines. South Korea's pursuit of this capability marks the beginning of a new era in regional competition, challenging the status quo and inspiring both caution and admiration. The world is watching closely as Seoul's bold choices send ripples across the Indo-Pacific. Every step in this journey is scrutinized by global powers, as the stakes for regional security and influence have never been higher. This is not just about submarines, it's about a nation's determination to secure its future in uncertain times, to stand strong in the face of adversity, and to shape its own destiny on the world stage. The deep ocean, once a realm of mystery and silence, has now become the front line of ambition, strategy, and national resolve. A place where the future of Asia may well be decided. For years, the US blocked South Korea's nuclear submarine ambitions, fearing proliferation and a regional arms race. But global politics shifted. Now, Washington supports Seoul's program, even agreeing to help source the uranium fuel needed for reactors. This reversal is a game-changer, giving South Korea both technical help and political legitimacy. The US now sees these submarines as vital for regional deterrence and burden sharing. The shift didn't happen overnight. It took years of diplomacy and a changing security landscape. The AUKUS pact with Australia set a precedent, making it harder to deny South Korea similar support. With America's blessing, South Korea's underwater ambitions are finally within reach. The tide has truly turned. South Korea's drive for nuclear submarines is a direct response to North Korea's growing undersea threat. Pyongyang is developing submarines capable of launching ballistic missiles, forcing Seoul to seek a credible deterrent. Diesel-electric subs must surface, making them vulnerable. Nuclear subs can stay hidden for months, patrolling and tracking threats. President Lee Jae-myung says this capability is essential for security and autonomy. North Korea's advances, real or exaggerated, push South Korea to match and deter, not provoke. The goal: ensure no adversary gains an underwater advantage. A nuclear fleet would strengthen South Korea's three-axis defense, able to hunt and neutralize threats before they emerge. In these cold, silent waters, endurance and stealth are power, and South Korea is determined to have both. This is about preventing conflict, not starting one. South Korea's nuclear submarine project is no longer just an idea. Real progress is underway. Defense Minister Ahn Gyu-bak confirms a prototype reactor is in advanced development, the hardest part of the project. The plan: at least 4 nuclear attack submarines, each around 5,000 tons, forming a formidable undersea force. With US support for fuel, the first vessel could be operational within a decade. Experts say South Korea's shipbuilding prowess and existing designs give it a strong foundation. The main challenge, nuclear propulsion, is being tackled with US cooperation on safety and technology. Building the subs is just the start. Rigorous training and safety protocols are essential for success. The course is set, and South Korea is moving forward. America's support for South Korea's nuclear subs caught Japan off guard. Japan, with its advanced conventional fleet, now faces a new regional dynamic. Tokyo is rethinking its own policies. Defense Minister Koizumi admits nuclear propulsion is now an option. This marks a shift for Japan, long committed to non-nuclear principles. The move could spark a wave of similar ambitions among US allies, but also stirs old rivalries. For now, Japan watches closely, aware its leadership in undersea power is being challenged. South Korea's decision is reshaping the region's security landscape. China's response to Seoul's nuclear submarine ambitions has been notably muted, a result of careful diplomatic maneuvering and repeated assurances from President Lee Jae-myung that South Korea's intentions are defensive, not provocative. Behind closed doors, however, Chinese officials are watching developments with growing unease, aware that any shift in the regional balance could have far-reaching consequences for their own security interests. Beijing remains wary, interpreting the presence of US-backed submarines in the region as part of a broader American strategy to contain China's influence and project power in the Asia-Pacific. The Chinese leadership sees these moves as a direct challenge to its maritime ambitions and a potential threat to its sovereignty in contested waters. The possibility of more allied nuclear submarines operating nearby complicates China's naval planning and forces its military strategists to reconsider their deployments and readiness, even if Beijing chooses to keep its public response restrained for now. North Korea, in stark contrast, has responded with loud condemnation, labeling the South's nuclear submarine plans as a dangerous escalation that threatens the fragile stability of the Korean peninsula. Pyongyang claims it is being forced to match the South's growing capabilities, using these developments as justification for its own aggressive military buildup and frequent weapons tests. The North's leadership insists that it must strengthen its deterrence to counter what it calls hostile acts from Seoul and its allies. Recent images of Kim Jong-un inspecting what state media calls a nuclear-powered submarine are intended more as a show of strength and resolve than a reflection of actual capabilities, but they feed into a growing arms race narrative that is increasingly difficult to ignore. Meanwhile, suspicions that Russia may be providing technical assistance or military equipment to North Korea add yet another layer of tension and uncertainty to an already volatile situation. As rival powers maneuver for advantage, the great power competition in East Asia is intensifying, much of it unfolding beneath the waves, where submarines and silent fleets now play a central role in shaping the region's future. South Korea's nuclear submarine dream began in the 1990s, born from fear of the North's nuclear ambitions. The secret KTX project was shelved under US pressure, but the idea never died. In 2017, President Moon Jae-in tried again, but US non-proliferation policy blocked progress. Everything changed with the 2021 AUKUS Pact, as the US agreed to help Australia build nuclear subs. This precedent gave Seoul new leverage. If Australia could get help, why not South Korea, facing a real threat? The logic was compelling, and shifting US priorities finally opened the door. After decades of frustration, South Korea's long-held ambition is now a declared national goal. The dream, once secret, is becoming reality. Nuclear-powered submarines are the ultimate symbol of military and technological might, representing a nation's ability to project power across the world's oceans. For decades, these formidable machines were the exclusive domain of the world's most powerful countries, reserved for the permanent members of the United Nations Security Council. Their stealth, endurance, and devastating firepower made them the backbone of nuclear deterrence and a key pillar of global security. The United States, Russia, the United Kingdom, France, and China dominated the nuclear deep for generations, each building vast fleets of submarines capable of remaining hidden beneath the waves for months at a time. These nations set the rules of the underwater game, shaping the balance of power beneath the surface. But the club didn't stay closed forever. India joined with its own ballistic missile submarine, signaling that the door was open to ambitious rising powers. India's entry marked a turning point, showing that technological barriers could be overcome with determination and strategic partnerships. Now, Australia is set to become the next member, thanks to the landmark AUKUS agreement. This deal broke new ground by allowing the transfer of nuclear submarine technology to a non-nuclear weapon state, setting a precedent that could reshape alliances and security arrangements in the Indo-Pacific. South Korea is also on the verge of joining this elite group. With targeted support from the United States, South Korean engineers are developing their own nuclear reactor and submarine designs, aiming to launch a new era of indigenous capability and regional influence. Unlike Australia's turnkey approach, where much of the technology is imported, Seoul is leveraging its own advanced industrial base to build a homegrown solution. This path could inspire other technologically advanced nations to follow suit. The expansion of this exclusive club marks a profound shift in global power dynamics. As more nations gain access to nuclear submarines, the undersea world is becoming more crowded, more complex, and far more competitive than ever before. The silent depths are no longer the exclusive domain of a select few. The race for dominance beneath the waves is accelerating, and the consequences will ripple across the world's oceans for decades to come. South Korea's nuclear submarine push, backed by the US, is accelerating Asia's underwater arms race. When one nation gains a game-changing capability, others must respond. Japan, China, and North Korea are already reacting. Each move triggers a counter-move, fueling a dangerous spiral of escalation. Nuclear subs as stealth makes the region's security environment more complex and unpredictable. The East China Sea, South China Sea, and Sea of Japan will become crowded, raising risks of accidents and miscalculation. The deep ocean is now a central arena for great power rivalry, demanding new rules and technologies. South Korea's gamble may secure its defense, but it's also ushered in a more perilous underwater age. The silent race has begun,